We're potting up our tomato plants today, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to pot yours up so that you get the most tomatoes possible this growing season, because there's a trick. I'm gonna show you the trick. We like to use an organic potting soil. When you first plant your tomatoes, like you're gonna grow them from seed, which is what we suggest, especially here in our area, because in the Seattle Pacific Northwest area, we have a very short, hot season for the tomatoes to grow in. And what we found is the best way for us to get the most amount of tomatoes is we actually start our tomatoes from seed in February. And right now it's the middle of March. So they have been growing in our nice, warm, grow light area for about a month. And come and look at them, babe. Look how big they are getting. You can see these are the first leaves, and now it already has almost three sets of true tomato leaves. And here's the cool thing about tomatoes, and this is the secret. Do you see all of this fuzzy growth right here on the side of the tomato plant? All of that fuzzy growth has the possibility of becoming roots. Which the reason why that's the secret is because the more root base that your tomato plant has, the more possibility it has to soak up water and nutrients, and it will be able to produce more tomatoes. More roots equals more tomatoes. Here's how we're gonna pot it up. First, you take it out of the cell and you can see, number one, the roots are starting to grow around. They're a little bit getting root bound. Also, we have two tomatoes here. What I do is, because we don't want to lose one of them, just gently wiggle them apart. And sometimes they get a little bit stuck. Just keep working with it. There we go. Now they're going to come apart. We have two tomato plants. We want to be gentle with it because I want to keep both of them. I'm actually going to take off those first leaves. We don't need them anymore because we're actually gonna bury this all the way up to here. So all of this space right here is gonna send out fresh roots, which is gonna make our plant even stronger. Okay, so let's get our pot. We like to use these because it's a little bit deeper. You can find even deeper ones, those work as well. And our tomato is actually gonna go all the way down, almost to the very bottom of the pot. And then we take our potting soil and we start gently pouring it in around the tomato. We want that whole stem to have that potting soil around it because it's gonna allow it to send out all of those nice fresh roots. And here's the thing to remember. When you start your seeds, you wanna use seed starting mix. When you pot them up, that's when you use potting soil. And the reason why you want to use potting soil is because it is a different mix than seed starting mix, and it's going to give your plants more nutrients. It also absorbs more water in a different way. It retains that water. And so this is a better environment for the plant to continue growing. Now here in our area, this is going to stay in the greenhouse, keep growing until we get to like mid-May. But in another month, we will take this plant, it's gonna be much, much bigger, and it's gonna get potted up again, and we'll be sure to show you what we do then, but it's essentially the same process. We will take this, we'll take off those bottom leaves, and it'll get potted up again. In the Seattle area or the Pacific Northwest, the best time for us to pot up or to put our tomatoes out into the garden is after Mother's Day. That's typically when we're past all of the real crazy rains. But tomatoes like it really, really hot, and they don't really want to be soggy wet. They like the heat, the dry heat. So wherever you are growing your tomatoes, you want to wait to put them out into the garden until you're into that nice hot part of summer, because that's when they're going to thrive. If you've put your tomatoes out into your garden and you're noticing that they're getting a little bit yellow, it can mean a couple things, but it could be that they're just a bit too cold and a bit too wet. And sometimes we have to kind of baby ours and limp them along until we get into that heat of summer. But the best thing to give them the best start is just to wait until you're past Mother's Day. That's kind of our sign here in our area. But for now, they're gonna keep growing in our amazing friend's greenhouse. Isn't this so beautiful? She is so, so kind to let us, you can see we have a whole tomato jungle going over here of all of our favorite kinds. And we'll put a list of the varieties that we really love to grow. If you look down in the description below, there's going to be a list of the tomatoes we like. One of the reasons why we really like these tomatoes in particular, they have great flavor, but also most of them are like plum size and smaller. If you're growing tomatoes in a growing zone, so we're in 8B to 9 is our growing zone, and the best thing for us to get the most amount of tomatoes is that we grow smaller tomatoes, and that allows us to get a lot of tomatoes off of our plants. And we have a few extra tips that we will share with you once we're into the tomato season, but for right now, make sure that you get yours potted up and come hang out with us. We love sharing life with you, sharing garden time. If you're into sourdough, come hang out with us as we make sourdough. We absolutely love sharing life with you.